Ty, happy Tuesday, my friend. We've got a 12-team Superflex PPR 1.75 for the tight end start 10. Are you going ETN and Chris Olave or Drake London in the 210? Go ahead, man.
Man, hi Clay. Nice to see you, buddy. I'm taking the Drake London side of this one. We are in the season of consolidation, not so much break apart. I feel like a lot of my teams have too many Chris Olaves and ETNs as is. So I'll take Drake London in the 210 here, happily.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it extensively before the show, right, Ty? I mean, a good minute and a half or so. Yeah. And Ty, you were saying you'd actually need the 210 on the other side. So if you were giving London, you'd want 210, ETN, Olave, but then you were like, but I'm not going to get it.
I'm probably not going to get it. I mean, because I have a league specifically where I have a London and I have too many players as is. And one of the teams that I'm trying to trade with, they have ETN and they have Olave, and I'm like, punch that in a calculator, it probably makes sense, but I need something else to make me want to do that because right now I already have the London.
Sure. No, I get it. Yeah, Olave is a tough one for me, man. When I was putting this trade together, I was like, somehow I need to bake Olave into a trade. Talk to me about him, and then we're gonna jump into the roster review, which is all over the thumbnail, the background, and whatnot. So, Olave, what do you think?
I mean, it's sad. I mean, we did the same thing with Tua, right? Head injuries make us just nervous of what if the floor completely falls out? Are we overreacting? Are we pushing him too far down? Maybe, but we need to find the answer in the offense, the quarterback. A lot of other things have to really shape up until we really know about Olave, and really until we see him play again, those fears are going to stay there. So as far as an asset, I'm like itching to buy right now. Not really, but as far as like a buy low opportunity, it's probably good.
Yeah, I think I have one Olave share, or I just got rid of my last Olave share, actually. So not sure.
T. Sanford says 2 seconds for over Olave, and I can't argue against that.
I can't argue that either. All right, so here's the skinny. Well, I guess I should go back to this. I should go back to this screen, and we'll just talk through it real quick. Where's the overlay thing? Ah, crap. I hate the layout of these streetbar things. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. So it was kind of a last second pivot, but we are in a listener league. Ty is not, but Shane and I are in this one. Scott is not in the Squirt League for whatever example, and the other ones that we're in are in 14 teamers. Anyway, so the gist on this is going to be my squad from the Squirt League that lost in the championship to Shane. So you're going to see the roster, but essentially Ty's going to beat it up. He is a peer-to-peer roster reviewer with us. Yeah, there you go. He does peer-to-peer roster reviews with us, and we'll talk about that. But you'll be able to see him in action. You know, don't tell us show. So let's just get into this sucker. Okay, so here's the roster format first, of course, Ty. So it is a 12-team Superflex PPR 1.75 for the tight ends, but it's also got some running back little bumps. So you have a 0.15 PPC, 0.15 point per carry. So every rush attempt is 0.15, and that includes the quarterbacks. You get a 0.25 for a rush first down, and a 0.2 for every other position. So it's a little small thing right there, an extra 0.05 for the running backs, and then 6 point per passing touchdown, only -1 for interception. What questions do you have for me before we get started? Let's pretend this is a review, dude.
This is a review. Yeah. Hi, my name's Ty. I'm doing a review. No, I do some cheesy intro and then make a joke. I try to make it feel natural, but I'm just talking to the camera to myself, Clay. So, yeah, I mean, looking at this, so I guess I want to know how we got here, Clay, because I see we have a 2026 second, and that's it. So if I can make it, like I said, you were up against Shane in the final, so we're probably making some last minute pivots, trying to really just beef up the lineup because there were some holes, like I said, with the CMC and all that. How did we get here?
Yeah. Hey, Ty, sorry, let me cut you off real quick. I always think about podcasts now because we are on Spotify and Apple Pod. Let me read off the roster for people who are just listening.
For sure.
So they can get a little visual. So quarterback is Lamar at the top. We've got Brees Kyron at running back. Then we've got Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams at wide receiver, Kelsey at tight end. Then we have Mixon, Pollard, Charbonnet, Keenan Allen as the 4 flexes. Aaron Rodgers currently sitting in the super flex position. Warning. And then on the bench, I'm just going to run down them real quick. Mike White, Jameis Winston, Derek Carr, Trubisky, Tyler Huntley. And then we get into some running backs because, again, that point per carry element. Let's see here. Ty Chandler, Tank Bigsby, Tyler Algier, Eckler, Madison, Michael Carter, Wilson, Hamler, Joshua Palmer, Mims, Musgrave, Bellinger, and Cade Otton. Okay. And on the IR, we have CMC, Gardner Minshew, Jerome Ford, and Shaheed. And then pick wise, all I have is my 26 second, or I'm sorry, Shane's 26 second. And again, we just lost in the championship, or he just beat me in the championship. Freaking horse just destroyed me, by the way. Just obliteration. But anyway, as you were, sir. So it's kind of a crusty team. Go ahead, do your thing.
Yeah, so I was saying, like, I'm assuming we sent like our 27 picks, like we sent all these picks probably later on, trying to really just fill out the lineup with all of the injuries you end up facing down the stretch, and the Breece Hall incident of it all. So yeah, and I mean, hell, you have all the damn running backs. So I mean, you really captured that, and in 2024, that won a lot of leagues was how the running backs performed. So I don't hate it. I see we only have to start 2 wide receivers as well. So I think you really leaned into that and really just went Kupp and Adams. And then, Shaheed was there as well. So, I mean, as I'm looking at this, I would love to try to, clean up some of the running back. And really that's my main focus right now, is just seeing how many damn running backs you have. But I mean, how many of those guys can you actually move in the offseason? How many of those are actually in demand? Because we're out of the point scoring season, right? So just from a standpoint of what I would do from each position, Clay, as I'm just looking at this. So at quarterback, you got Lamar, sick, right? You got to get the top 4 guy. And then after that, you got Carr, Winston, Rodgers, Minshew, Huntley, Trubisky, Mike White. No one who you're going to feel confident saying that's my quarterback too in September. But as far as a stud and dud, or a stud and any quarterback on a 53, like that's perfect. You almost have too much equity in a Carr, a Winston, and a Rodgers. So we can explore.
Equity, really? You're on that train too, to where you go as close as absolutely possible at quarterback.
I won some championships doing that. Yeah, it
worked for me. I believe you. I'm at least tasting the Kool-Aid.
Now, if you didn't have Lamar, and for the fact you didn't have Josh Allen, you didn't have a Jaden Daniels or like a Jalen Hurts, I'm not singing the same tune, right? However far you go down that quarterback ladder depends how much stuff I want on the back end at quarterback. So I love what you did here. You can figure out quarterback 2 when you need to. We don't need to do that right now. Of course, if we can get some picks in the back pocket, that makes it easier to address it later on. So maybe we'll try to restock some of the drawers there. At tight end, we got 4 tight ends. I'm assuming we can only start, we can flex them, but you have enough running backs to flex till kingdom comes. So Musgrave, Bellinger, and I did a little sleuthing beforehand here, Clay. Looking at just some of the best available tight ends in your league. Kobe Parkinson, Tommy Tremble, Davis Allen, Foster Moreau, Brock Wright. What that tells me is, man, I can pick up a tight end when I need to. Anytime. Yeah. So if you can't sell Musgrave or Bellinger for a 4th or a 3rd or whatever your lowest common denominator is, just cut them and let's find a way to move one of Kelsey and or Otton, in a deal, try to package them in.
Good stuff. I just sent you a message, Ty. There's some kind of feedback that I'm hearing anyway when you're talking on the audio. I don't know if anyone else is hearing that, but
let me know.
I see some funny stuff in the comments as well. No, but let me ask you this while you're tinkering. So the format being the 0.15 per rush attempt, and then the 0.25 for the rushing first down, I guess, how big of a deal does that actually make? When somebody's like, oh, it's a point per carry format, do you consider that to be a decent advantage for the running back right there? Because oftentimes when people say, oh, we're in a 1.5 tight end premium, we're like, that's kind of a faux tight end premium. Is this a faux point per carry right here or no?
The 1-5, and I don't know if you get into some feedback still, just let me know. In a 1-5, I mean, or yeah, 0.15, I think I can hear a little bit too, so I'll see if I can figure that out. But
I'll just ask the crowd. Keep going, man.
yeah, yeah, it almost like it raises the floor for like things like quarterback kneels or things like that, and it can boost it a little bit. Once you get to the 0.2, 0.25, that's when it really starts to matter more for me. But I mean, how many games were won and lost by a point or two in the season, right?
You never
So
know.
it does
You never
make a
know.
difference at the end of the day.
Yeah, so let's I'm looking at this too, and where my head is at when I look at my own team in this case is obviously I'm nervous about quarterback. And by the way, whatever you do when you go on mute, yeah, it goes dead quiet. But so yeah, quarterback for sure is a scary thing for me. Going gross. I don't know if the crowd is cool with the going really gross at quarterback, even having Lamar. But it's like, how else am I going to address it because I don't have a first round pick? So you brought up the injuries and stuff, and I brought up on a previous stream how I had to spend my 27 first last second to buy Devontae Adams, Jerome Ford, and who else? Was it Tony Pollard to put in against Shane? Because I don't know what happened, but yeah, so I had to do that. So I've only got that 26 second now. And so when I look at my crusty ass wide receivers and I look at my like little bit scary quarterback room, I've got no firsts and I don't have tons of liquid assets. You know what I mean? There's nothing that's gonna knock down your door asking about this player. I don't get many visitors, although it's a
Right.
listener league. These things are active as shit. So I always talk myself into circles too, because it's like, oh, I don't have a first. It's like I can find a way to get a first in this league. I think. Anyway,
You'd
go
hope. I
ahead.
mean, usually like, and that's where like
You
for
sound great,
Lamar.
dude. You,
Oh,
you sound perfect.
sick.
Yep.
Yes,
Rock
get
on.
these dulcet tones in your ears. Let's go. I mean, when you have a Lamar, like, and you have a guy like, I guess a Brees, I'll put a Brees, you have an option where you can pull the ripcord and get the picks when you need to. So he said, I know it doesn't feel comfortable having those, like, not an option for quarterback two right here, right now, but you could try to move around. You could do I like to call it the Cody Smith, my pal Cody Smith, the make them say no deal. So I go to everyone in the same tier, I tack on a second and make them say no. So go to the Josh Allen owner, go to the Jaden Daniels owner, go to the Jalen Hurts owner. Just offer them Lamar for that quarterback in a second. Make them say no, then go down to the next one. I think you could probably find an interesting way to approach Lamar. Like maybe you could find like I don't know, a Joe Burrow and a Godwin. Like find a way to package something up like that where you can get another wide receiver in your room that fits your build, and you don't go down
That's a
too
six
far
point.
at
That's a
quarterback.
6 point per passing touchdown. I mean, Lamar is
Yeah,
awesome in everything, but if we're a 4 point, that would be less sexy to go to a Burrow, right?
correct.
Maybe.
And
Anyway,
no, yeah,
go
you're
ahead.
right. And Burrow's price, it's really high right now, but
Yeah.
he's in an offensive system that probably is going to stay the same. And I think his chances of having another outlier season are pretty good. So I'm kind of good to make that pivot if I can solve another issue, like I said, with like a Godwin.
Okay. So what else are we? Okay, CMC is on my IR along with Shaheed. What are you doing with Shaheed and Christian McCaffrey?
For Christian McCaffrey, so I mean, in this format, like I love having, especially in like when you have the bonuses for the first downs, like I love having like a Christian McCaffrey, a Cup, like those guys who typically get like the third down work, even like if you can kind of pencil it into a profile. But for your roster and what you have, I think being able to pivot from like a Christian McCaffrey and you might have to add something to it. You might have to do like Christian McCaffrey and Travis Kelsey to try to get into like a Terry McLaurin. And then maybe you can find a roster piece that makes sense. Maybe there's a backup quarterback that scratches your itch or something like that. Can you go Christian McCaffrey and get into Darnell Mooney and something? Like can we pivot maybe and shift some of that equity from running back into wide receiver? Or you could try to chase like a Geno Smith if you really want to solve that quarterback too now. But I like to play more risky in my super flex spot.
Yeah, no, good stuff there. And there are probably a lot of people listening who don't play in start 11s. and hopefully they're able to see it on the screen here and appreciate
Yeah,
how it gets legit when you have to start 11 players if you're used to playing in start 9, start 8s. So
yeah,
these, you have to look at the bottom of your roster as well.
for
Like
sure.
you have to turn that over
And
and
like
say,
Shaheed would have been a starter for you this year
oh,
until he got hurt. He
100%.
was
Yeah.
smashing,
Yeah. I mean,
just
what are your
smash.
thoughts on running it back? If I don't have any luck getting, let's say I don't have any luck getting any value, what do you think about running this bitch back?
I mean, that's the thing. I don't know if you have another option because I don't see you finding enough deals that you like where you're just liquidating things for first because you're probably selling low on all of these running backs when it's not really the time to sell them. So then you're just kind of going to keep chasing your tail if you try to liquidate it. I say run it back, man. Like you got the running backs that fit the format, you got the elite quarterback. We're going to have enough at wide receiver. It takes a deal or even two to feel great at wide receiver for you because like you only have to start two and you have enough running backs
Yeah.
already. So it's not going to take too much, but it's not going to get fixed overnight either. So I know you've seen that 2028 first lurking somewhere. Just lock that up, okay? Like let's put a pause on spending things. Let's see if we can get a couple more seconds in our back pocket. So then when we're in the year, we can patch some things that do pop up. But all I'd say is just hold off on trading some of the running backs unless you find a deal that actually works for you. And then we can look to flip out some of these running backs once we're in the season.
Let me ask you this question. See where your head is at as an expert. So Lamar Jackson, if you're the Lamar Jackson owner, what is the furthest trade down? I'm just looking at a comment right here. Big Diaz energy. Clay's a tricky trade partner though. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, Lamar Jackson. How far do you tier down? Would you be okay with tearing down? I mean, with obviously getting a massive piece on top, but will you go all the way down to like a Kyler, um, or Baker? Talk to me. You get the idea.
Oh, I got you, baby. When it comes so I'll tell you a little story and then I'll answer your question. So one
Go
of the
for it.
trades that I really, really regretted last year was with my trade partner, Gabe. Gabe, you got me again. Where I traded away my Josh Allen, and I got into a Brian Thomas Jr., which was great. I did send away Xavier Worth in that deal, but I got into a CJ Stroud, and
So
I
what was the so I wanna follow
clean
this
that
story.
up.
What's the trade? Yeah, clean that up.
Josh Allen and Xavier Worthy for CJ Stroud and Brian Thomas Jr.
Okay. All right.
So it's a best ball league as well, right? Anyways, so I made that deal thinking, well, CJ Stroud is not that far of a step down. And really, what I've learned just as we've gone through this season, as I just keep reflecting, is those top end guys are just so far removed from
Mhm.
all the way down. So I want to find ways to get into Baker. I don't want. I want to find ways to get into even Kyler, but that doesn't mean I want to like use my Lamar to do that per se. So if I have a Lamar, I want to find a way to stay, like I said, probably in the top 6, top 7 if I can, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, again, in that package, I want to be able to address issues. I want to hopefully get some liquid capital there, or just move into some actual like difference making options.
Yeah, and we'll talk about this just a bit more, and then we'll go to the bigger screen and do some hammers and talk to the crowd. I'm just trying to think if I have any more questions for you. But
Yeah,
honestly,
no,
this is a good opportunity, right? Um, Travis Kelsey
yeah,
and Cade Otton. If you've already talked about this, what are you
yeah,
doing at tight ends?
yeah.
And I've
So
got a couple cans. Got Bellinger and Musgrave.
yeah. So I'm cutting Bellinger and Musgrave likely because I'm probably not getting a pick for him. I mean, if someone wants to trade you like a backup quarterback for one of those cats, sure, but I don't know if it's really going to be there. So for Otton or Kelsey, I mean, Kel, Kelsey's going to be Kelsey until he's not, but you've just seen the volume and everything slowly but surely tick away. So, he is probably a dead end asset. I don't know if you can get anything for him, but he feels like a guy. I'd like to add him into a deal as a nice little name, a little touch, instead of having the thirds to throw into deals. Throw in a Kelsey, right? Maybe that gets you somewhere.
Yeah.
Otton, I think Otton might be something that you could move, especially maybe to the Baker owner. Find a way maybe to move Otton to Baker. And you can get into a wide receiver from there too. I'm not sure what that particular owner has, but maybe I can look at that up while you like. I mean, what
No,
have you had any traction trying to move any of those guys?
no, I mean, when I think about Otten and Kelsey, I don't even worry about the room. Yeah, it is a 1.75, so I can't completely neglect it,
Mhm.
but there's there's not much flexibility with this roster. I would really have to grind it, and instead I was having to scramble to try
Yeah.
to win. Um, and when I look at this squad too, it's like, should I just package that 26 second and see if I could do something cool with it? Just clear out that spot on the overlay completely.
I'll tell you
Um,
what I'm not doing, Clay. I'm
immediately.
not moving that 26 second. I'm not doing it. I'm putting my hands under my ass and I'm not
Yeah.
moving. I'm standing there. I just looked it up. How about this? What would you send Otten away for Darnell Mooney and a 27 third?
Otten for Mooney and a third. Yeah. Yeah. I'll just do it. I'll just do it right now while you but
Right.
talk through it.
So I mean, for your roster again, if we're going to be stuck with Kelsey, let's just be stuck with Kelsey, right? And then there's plenty of options you can pick up at tight end throughout the year as we get there. So we don't have to really worry about devoting a spot to that. For you to feel better going into the season, you're going to want a little bit more flexibility at wide receiver. If that means like I don't know what deals are going to be knocking over the offseason, but if a deal does come for an Adams or a Cup, if you at least can add another body like a Mooney, hell, get a little grosser like a Romeo Dobbs, like anything in that kind of a range. Just you can add something, you can split the asset, get something a little additional back. I don't think you're getting
Mooney.
anything really more for any of those.
MJ happens to have Mooney, and I think I could.
Oh,
I meant to. Yeah, MJ sweetheart. Uh, Good old mom on fuego. I was meant to mess around with my screen mirroring earlier, but yeah. Okay, so Darnell Mooney. That's kind of funny. I wonder if she's listening right now. Okay, Darnell Mooney in a third. You said for Kate Otten.
sure.
Okay, all right. She's got 27 third. She's getting light on the pickaroos too. But no, I dig it. All right, sent. Yeah, I'll shoot her a
Hey,
message. We'll see.
and Nubs, I turned it down a little bit. Let me know if that's a little better.
You're sounding sexy, sir.
Oh,
All
thank you.
right, so I'm gonna get off of this overlay. We're gonna go back to the regular screen where it'll be comfier consuming of Dynasty content. Okay, so let's do this. We are gonna go to the crowd first, say what's up to people in here, catch a couple of these. We have an initial immediate super chat from Professor Charlie T today, and an accidental second one at that, but he can afford it. Okay, so he says, and thank you very much, sir. What to do with 25 firsts? 10 team Superflex start 9, have the 103, 105, 110, 205, no 26 first. Team is Allen, Anthony Richardson, then has Achan, Swift, Harris, Warren, and Spears at running back. G. Willie, BTJ, Zay, Olave, Ridley, and then has Mandrews at tight end. Got 6 running backs, Winston and Willis, and then he's just mentioning other stuff on the bench.
Mhm.
Asks if he should go all running back. So again, it's the 103, 5, and 10 is what he
Yeah.
has in the first round, and the 205. What are you doing? You've already got Achan and Swift, Najee and Harris, and Spears.
I mean, from what we've heard about the class, that choice might be made for you, right? I heard there's zero quarterbacks, there's no wide receivers except for one. So I think every single pick's going to be. We like to over exaggerate. 1-3, 1-5, 1-10. For right to answer the question, what to do with 25 first? Right now, I'm holding. I'm holding. I'm holding. I'm holding. I'm gonna wait until at least we get to the combine. Let some of the let some of the hype start to build on some of these picks. Um, you're going to have a range of like from what we're doing in some mocks, some great running backs, so Marion Hampton, Caleb Johnson. You're gonna have options at Tet. We got Burton. There's gonna be John Jenkins. There's so many guys I want to take in this range anyway. So you're gonna have plenty of options that do become available. So we don't got to pencil guys in here yet. As far as your team goes, I mean, if you do have the shot to take the top wide receiver in the class, whatever that means, I'd consider taking that. Like I said, add a wide receiver to Wilson, BTJ, Zay, Olave, Ridley. Yeah, I feel nice about that, but as a start nine. Running back, sure. But what I'd probably try to do, if this is my team, is once the combine hits, I want to take that 1.5 or that 1.3, attach that to Zay, and see just how far I can climb up the wide receiver ladder. Can I break into the top five? Just try to go get some real hammers in the 10-team start nine league.
Start at the top and then just start scrolling down until you get uncomfortable. So
Exactly.
quarterback, is there anything you can do there? I mean, I'm sure he's trying his Charlie bestest, sending
Yeah.
his trash ass offers to get a better quarterback, but you're obviously not drafting one. Would you package a couple of those first to try to buy a quarterback? Couple package. I mean, yeah. What do you think?
I mean, we had this conversation about Lamar. With Allen, I feel great that that covers 1.5 quarterbacks for me. I'm fine rolling with that, especially in a 10-team league where it's truly studs or duds at quarterback. There's not going to be a scarcity in a 10-team league that makes me want to overpay for a quarterback, especially on January 28th, Clay. So I'm fine rolling with Allen and AR. I can figure out, the rest of that. We can add a quarterback down the stretch, and we can probably find a cheap one. You were rolling with Winston and Willis, right? And those probably suffice just fine for you. So we're gonna find those guys. I'd probably pick up some more backups, or like I said, just have with that 110 especially. Can I kick that to a 26 first with a 1.5? Can I make a deal where I pick up a later pick? So almost like on your team there, Clay, we can have some ammo to go and address that if and when we need to.
So how do you, I guess it also comes down to what you think about Anthony Richardson. But what do you think about the importance of having two monster QBs in a, I mean, it's nice to have two monster QBs in any format, but in a start nine versus a start 11, for example, like we were looking at with my squad,
Mhm.
is it extra powerful to have two really strong quarterbacks in a start nine, just given you're starting less positions? Do you put weight into that? Essentially, is what I'm getting at with it being a start
Sure.
nine.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, I would say yes. Like the least amount of spots, I want to be as high up the ladder as I can. Like it's all about getting the hammers, being as consolidated as possible. So yes, but there's only a select few guys that truly
Yeah,
fall in
yeah.
that category.
Right,
So
right.
it,
And there's still a league market. There still has to be, people who want to buy and sell players. Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
And I think before this season, like I'm thinking back to some offseason stuff, like I was all about getting two elite quarterbacks. I think I'm not as gung ho about that anymore. Like I need one. If I can have one that checks that box, then I can. There's enough stuff that I can find on my waiver wire in deals just around that I can fix that hole and just use some of that stuff that I have elsewhere.
Yeah, I've always been the type, and it's going to be tough for me to in startups this year. You'll start doing some here soon, but
Mhm.
to not go, I always go quarterback in the first round. I guess I don't want to say always. I tried a double wide receiver build last year with Amon-Ra and CD, but anyway, going quarterback in the first round, a stud,
Mhm.
and then being tempted to go like Baker in the third or fourth or wherever he's falling these days. It's going to be very tempting not to do that. I just know myself. It's
Yeah,
like we're having a little psychology moment here
I love
right
it.
now.
I love it. Yeah, just
This
tell me
is
how you really
venting
feel,
more than
Clay.
anything.
Tell me how you feel, man. Because I agree. Because it feels like, hey, I can lock that up, and especially a guy like Baker, right? Like he has clout to his name now. It's like I feel good about it. But where you get into trouble is where you draft that quarterback simply because you want to have that quarterback too locked up, and you leave someone on the board that you clearly would take over that quarterback as soon as the draft is over,
That's
right?
that's always a good way of looking at it. Yeah.
You don't want to take that Dak Prescott, when that Lad McConkey's still on the board. You don't need to make that swap. We can still play some dynasty principles, and there's still going to be plenty of quarterback kind of down the board as you go as well. So, just it all depends how you want to approach it, how you want to roster build, right? That's the beauty. We can do it a bunch of different ways.
Let me ask you this question because it's always like a get to know you question. Uh, in startups, do you trade away? Are you good with trading away your first, the following year's first to move up? or do you try to hold on to them dearly? Like one of our former golden rules. I don't know how golden it is now. Maybe it's like, it's like a Shane Gold, like
Right,
a
right.
pewtery kind of look.
Now it's too meta. Now we do have to trade first in startups, right? Like now, I mean, typically I try not to for a couple reasons. One, I don't want to see my league safe account dwindle down. I like having a balance there, so I don't always want to pay for future picks. But also, I just don't think I don't want to be. I don't want to bet on myself to be right that early on if I can. I want to hold that flexibility to be able to, like, once I have more information, once we're a couple weeks into the season, if I think I'm a smashing contender, now I can use that first. Now I haven't attached that first to someone that's already hurt and on IR, right? And I know what my team is going to be. I've stress tested it. So typically I like to hold on to future first, except in one specific type of context, Clay. I was in a auction startup. It was with yourself and Shane and Scott. It was our
Yep.
DTI5 Process Over Players League.
Oh,
And
yeah, yeah.
we were in this auction, and as we got later and later on the board, I saw an opportunity to sell my picks to get some more dollars and really enhance my leverage I had at that point. So when we're talking dollars and markets, there's always times to do things,
Yeah.
but in general, holding.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff there. Okay. And let me pull up another question here from the crowd. Alex is in our crowd. He gets on the screen every time. You watch our content, right?
Oh yeah.
Right, Ty? Yeah,
Oh
you
yeah.
watch our stuff. Awesome. Okay. You know who Alex is. You know you've met his dog as well.
Good
Okay.
dog.
Good to see you, Alex. Thanks for the question. We've got 90 heads in here. I got to send out a tweet. Need to wake your asses up, as somebody would say. Strategy question: do you let real playoff performances affect your player values? These points don't matter to fantasy, and it's so far from the regular season. Can we expect any carryover to next season? What do you think about this one? Good question.
It's a really good question. And it's something that I find myself thinking about as I'm watching the game because I'm like, yes, Terry McLaurin, he scored. Let's go. Like, wait, but I'm not actually scoring points. I have nothing on this. Like, why am I
Yeah.
I'm still up for Terry McLaurin. But I think one, you don't want things to go south. You don't want an injury. You don't want anything that's going to prevent next season's outcomes yet. So get to the playoffs healthy, sure. But really, like, Dynasty is becoming more and more and more about how someone feels about a player and what just the biases we have for a player and how that motivates us to do different things. Watching Jaden Daniels ascend throughout the playoffs and just and really just have the team rally around him, that is what has cemented his dynasty value. So I think as we watch this player performance, I think can change how people feel and how the outlook for things go forward. And conversely, Mark Andrews, bet there's probably a market to go buy at Mark Andrews after having a drop. Dalton
Ugh.
Kincaid, he was already going down. I bet there's a mark. Like, if people want to overreact to a hyper focused moment in a football game in the playoffs, yeah, we can take advantage of that.
Yeah, Andrews was an interesting kind of case study this past year. He had like trash value and then like came back to life. And then I mean, we know what happened in the real life game. But what are your thoughts on him moving forward? I mean, he still has the chance to be a difference maker at the position if anybody does, right? Would you agree with that, or what are your thoughts?
I think anyone tied to Lamar Jackson can do some nice things.
Always have a puncher's chance.
Remember that he got in that car accident before the season and that really slow start to the year. Like, I don't know if he was healthy to start the year. As the year went on, he started to get more integrated. Likely kind of took a back seat and then he came back. So really, I don't want to pay the Mark Andrews bold italicized price. What I'd love to do is find a way to get Mark Andrews thrown in a deal, and then build my team around that. Like, just say, I bet Mark Andrews can be at least a top 12 tight end, and just say, okay, now I can just devote all my stuff elsewhere. I don't have to worry about it. That's, if I have
Yeah.
Mark Andrews, that's what I'm hoping to do.
Yeah, I dig it. Okay, let's put this up here from Tony. Oh, nice. Yeah, we did the giveaway the other night,
Nice.
and he said got my hoodie in the mail from the giveaway. Yeah, he got a green, I guess, Dynasty Trades in 5 hoodie. Tony, shoot a message, a follow-up message in the chat too, and let me know how like the quality was and all of that stuff. Everything I've got, it's pricier than like crap. What do they call it? print by whatever companies, but shit's dope. All right, so let's get that off. Ty, Mark G was nice enough to get us a super chat. Thank you very much. This is a 12-team super flex. Quick question is, do you trade JJ for Nabers and Rome? Ooh, I like this one.
What
But
are
we
we
don't know how
saying,
many
Clay?
starters. Are
Yeah.
we going to say start? Mark, you're out there. How many starters? 10?
Has to
Keep an
be.
eye on the chat if you can
I'll tell you
say.
what. If it's anything less than 12, my answer is still firmly gonna be JJ. I
Hmm.
love Neighbors, love him, love him, love him, but I'm just gonna bet on JJ, being the elite guy, and I like Rome. I do think that there's hopefully less of a Keenan Allen problem preventing him from getting opportunity. He looked good down I think he's gonna progress. I think he could get better, and I think people are still gonna like him if and when he does flash. So, uh, like both players, but I'm still just gonna go JJ.
Yeah. No,
I'm with
I
I'm with
hear you.
Sanford though. This question feels like a start 8.
It feels shallow.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, it's good to talk through that. Yep. You said it would have to be at least a start 12, huh?
at,
It,
at,
it
at
comes it
least.
comes down to how much faith you have in the Doomsday, or yeah, if there's any other thing going on like stack wise or for reasoning. It's not it's a cool trade. I mean, it's close. It's there,
Oh yeah,
obviously. It's enough to spend
definitely.
$1.99 on us two clowns,
it,
you
it
know.
could be the best deal that other owner sees for that asset, right? So it could be like what gets it done. But yeah, if I was in that, like, it's just as you get more shallow, it's just going to be more and more JJ.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to one of these hammers from buymeacoffee.com/trades in five. Is it super small up there? I'm I
It's
could I could go back to the overlay. I'll read it and then I can always go back
sure.
and make one while you're talking. Okay, so this is it'll be easier if I just read it from the Buy Me a Coffee screen, the next one. Thank you very much, someone. This is a 12-team Superflex half PPR, full PPR for the tight end start 9. We've got May at quarterback and then Trash after that. He says, was starting Winston and Rogers as my QB2 last season. Running backs, we're looking at Saquon, Jacobs, Brian Robinson. Wide receivers, Amon-Ra, CD, Nico. Tight ends, Hawk, Otten, Likely. Don't have a 25 first. After listening to Manic and Chill from this past week, and he says, great show, by the way, it got me thinking on if I should trade either Saquon or Jacobs to liquidate during their high value. As someone in my league definitely values Saquon in particular very highly. Okay. Guess like a Philly fan of sorts. Oh, is it Shane maybe? Who does? Do I do the same with one of my wide receivers? Feel like the best way to start trading my way up to a top QB, or do I just shut the f up and have some patience as trading away hammers in such a shallow league is counterintuitive? Okay, what do you think here? We've got a 12-team superflex half PPR start 9, very shallow
Yep. Man,
or shallow.
If I had Saquon, the reason my team was good is because of Saquon. So thank you, Saquon. I mean, yeah, it's really tough to let go of someone, but I'm the type of person, Clay, where if someone wants something from me, I try to find a way to make something happen because that's advantageous for both of us. So if you have someone that's very, very highly valuing Saquon and you can hopefully solve a need for you, I'm down for it. Like, is there a way that whether one has to add to the other side or there's some additional piece you have to throw in to get into a Baker, into a
Mhm.
Bo Nix, someone in that range where maybe you still have a little bit of sex appeal with the quarterback name. Um, but I mean, I'm not opposed to trading away Saquon. I'm not in a hurry
Mhm.
to trade away Saquon, but I'm definitely not opposed.
Yeah, you. By the way, you got the sound back. It's no massive deal. It's fine. I'm gonna read this next one and start talking about it, and then you can join me at your leisure, sir. So Dylan, thank you very much. He got us a hammer over at buymeacoffee.com/trades and five. Okay, we got a 12-team superflex, half PPR, full PPR for tight ends, start 11. Lamar, Caleb, and Gino at quarterback, Gibbs, Jonathan Brooks, Kendre at running back, Nabers, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, Adams, JMO, and Mims. And then we got Bowers at tight end. It's always a nice name to see on the screen, isn't it? 105, 106, 111, and all future picks. And simply ask moves. Ty, you were. Let's hear you talk, and I'm sure you were
Oh,
listening at the same time.
oh, of
Go ahead.
course. Hello, 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 hello.
I'll give you
I'll do
I'll give you a 7.5
a
out of
seven and
10.
a
I
half.
don't hear the feedback, but it was. I don't want to say it was creepy, but it was something.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
12 team Superflex, start 11, half PPR, small tight end premium. What are you doing with this team? Just straight up moves.
Small tight end premium. Yeah. So, I mean, I like the 105, 106, 111, all future picks. So, the nice thing is you're coming at it from a place of really no major needs. You have a check mark for stud at each position: Lamar, Gibbs, Nabers, Bowers, Jonathan Brooks. Yikes. All right. Like after that at Gibbs, it gets very gross very quickly. So hopefully you have any running back on a 53 approach there. 105, 106, I'm sure you'll be able to address running back there. So if I can't find a move in the meantime, at least I know hopefully that ticket can find me something that I'll need there. But what I would be trying on this team, I would be trying to take that 105 and 106, attach it to a Devontae Smith, the Adams, the JMO, and again, seeing how far I can climb up the wide receiver ladder. I also would, and Clay, let me know if you would do this. Would you take your Devontae Smith and Caleb Williams to get into a Joe Burrow straight up, or would you need a plus?
So Caleb and Devontae Smith to get to Burrow. Let's just see where we're at with that. Um, that's not there. That's not there for me. Devontae Smith just isn't quite sexy enough of a piece, even though it is a start 11. So it is a conversation. It's not awfully far off. If it's a 6 point per passing touchdown, yeah, it's close, but I would need something else to answer your question. I feel
Okay.
like I would need a second, 26
Okay.
second, and we're making love.
So, okay, wow. Well, that's a little more than I was expecting in that deal. But
We need
I
to
mean,
get
so
you and Shane on a stream,
yes,
by the way. How has that not happened?
it's a
Yeah.
good question, but keep your eyes peeled. Something Shane and I have some things coming out hopefully shortly.
No, that's right.
Um, but if you can't get into Burrow, like, can I try the same tier? Like, I don't know if Mahomes is any more approachable. What about like a Justin Herbert? And then you can try to get Grosser, Purdy, and all that. But the point is, I bet you can flip around some of those names, some of those picks to whether it be upgrade at quarterback there to feel a little bit better if you want to there. But really, I'd love to add running back names through waivers or try to tier up some of the wide receivers if I can.
Sounds bueno to me. Okay, let's move back to the other screen, and I actually have a hammer banner from who is it? B Mormon was supposed to be the first on the screen tonight. Okay, Mr. B Mormon. Sorry we didn't hit yours last week. My apologies, sir. Okay, we have a 10-team Superflex start 11, 6 point per passing touchdown, PPR, no tight end premium. And then he mentions a couple bonuses, so 40 and 50-yard TDs. We've got Burrow, Murray, Penix, and Darnold, along with Geno at quarterback. We've got Gibbs, Chase Brown, Connor, Kamara, and then CD, JSN, Flowers, Mooney, Ridley, and Diggs at wide receiver, says if he still counts. McBride and Laporta at tight end. That's a good room. Remember those. No tight end premium. We'll keep that in mind. Sold the 25 picks to go for a repeat. Says he got third. Have all the other future picks. Plan on shopping a quarterback, Penix or Kyler, for future draft capital, and maybe see if anyone will overpay for Laporta. Okay. All right. So to clean it up, 10-team Superflex, start 11, PPR, no tight end premium. What are you doing here? There wasn't this. What was the specific question? Yeah, there was no question unless I just didn't paste it in. But what are you doing here?
Yeah, so I think he's mentioned like, do I trade Murray and Penix for picks? And do I try to see if someone will overpay for Laporte? I mean, sure, right? I mean, again, you have a start 10 league. If you were in a start 5 quarterback league, you're absolutely set. But yeah, you have too many quarterbacks in a league that doesn't have that much scarcity. So if I can move any of those players for picks, absolutely. Darnold, Darnold, yeah, any 26 first. Penix has some heat in the trade markets these days. You can, Clay, let me ask you. If I tried to take Penix and Laporta, what kind of deals could we get done? I think we could explore some crazy cross-positional values. And so if you really want to get out of Penix and Laporta, you don't have to ask for a quarterback back. You have Gibbs, you have Chase Brown, Connor. You have enough at running back already. So, can we just climb wide receiver ladder? Penix and Laporta, how high can we go?
I like it. Yeah. Penix definitely does have a lot of juice, and Laporta is a good player and has some juice as well. Yeah, where can we go with that? I love the cross positional action too. I want to get a wide receiver ideally. So are we starting at the top? Can Penix and Laporta, Justin Jefferson, what's missing from the package?
Penix, Laporta, probably a first if I had to guess, especially in a non-tight end premium league.
Yeah. Because I guess, you're not to be able to, again, just talking out loud here, you have to be having one of the elite wide receivers to talk to an elite wide receiver kind of thing. So how high can we get though?
Can we attack that fringe range where people really don't know exactly where to land? Like Puka, Malik Nabers, Brian Thomas Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr. Like someone in that range, maybe. Can we land there?
Would you do that? Would you trade Laporta and Penix for Barf?
You know what? It
with
wouldn't be
this
my
with
first
this
stop.
team because you have 19 quarterbacks?
Yes, it wouldn't be my first stop, but yes, with this team, with this format, I would consider doing that. When I have a surplus, I don't necessarily want to sell it cheap, but I need to do something with it. So, if I feel like Marv gets me closer to getting up the wide receiver ladder, Clay, then yeah, I'm definitely doing that. But like I said, start at the top, work your way down, see what happens.
Yeah. No, that's a good call. And I always like when you have the flexibility too to be able to do something like that where you can include a quarterback and not get one in return, not require getting one in return, because I don't know, it's almost like extra value that you're retaining it in a way, even if it's just psychologically. You can tell I listened to too many podcasts today. I was sick as shit for 3 days, man. I must have lost 8 pounds. I'm not even kidding. Clothes falling off of me. Okay, let's get off of this banner. Yeah, I'll survive. Okay. I see here the next one is gonna be Uncle Randy once I get something in here, but we are going to put up the second question that Charlie had attached that technically cost him $20. Thanks again. He says, wife says if she gets pregnant again. Wait. Wife says if she gets pregnant again, we're trying for number 2. I can't play fantasy this season because of too much football. Please help. Any suggestions? Also pray for me, fam. So I definitely am going to have to remember to bring this up with Shane in some form or fashion. But you don't have kids. You're not married. What do you say to this, Ty?
I am married.
Oh, you are married.
But we are a dual income, no kid life with a dog.
Thanks, baby.
Dinkwad. Yeah. So this is definitely a Shane question, I will say, but Professor Charlie T, I think even with kids, like they got to really be able to balance priorities and make time for what matters for sure. But I don't know about you. For me, fantasy football, it matters. And, fantasy football is a reflection of my mental health. So, if I don't have time to really devote to fantasy football, I don't have time to devote to me. And I need to be able to carve that out. I need to find ways to make that work with the baby. So maybe you and your wife can find a way to make that work with your schedules.
That's awesome. Yeah, I couldn't even get the question out. I made it like 5 words and I was like, wait, what the hell is going on here? Pregnant, can't fantasy in one sentence. It was devastating. Yeah, there has to be a separation of church and state somehow. I mean, the thermostat is one thing, but when we're getting to you can't play fantasy football, losing that kind of leverage, I don't know if I could I don't know if I can come back from that.
I'll tell you what,
That's rock bottom for me.
my wife beats me in fantasy, so there would never be a hide in a fantasy or trying
Oh
to
yeah,
like
that's right. I'm a
oh yeah,
dumbass. I knew you were married. I guess that was
yeah.
me being hopeful,
Hey,
saying that you were just had nothing to do with
just
kids and marriage.
free bird.
Exactly. Yeah, I think Charlie's like 12 days older than me or something like that, which is kind of funny. Okay, let's I started this one or you did. Said, ooh, Canadian instead of the Philly monster and Midwest chill. Fine, I'll take it. Thanks for coming in, Ty. Love you, Clay. Good stuff, man. Good to see you. Good to see you as always. Okay, let's go to the crowd, and then I'm gonna get a hammer up and at 'em. Okay, let me scroll back up to the top. Let's see who got stuff in early. Okay. Maybe you can help.
Yeah.
Where's Shane? Damn it, Canadian Shane. Who's
Yeah,
supposed
my
to be
bad.
starring for me? No.
Oh, here we go. We
I'll
got
pull
oh,
up.
you got it.
I'll pull up Jared, and then we'll do that one. He says, "Love the show, guys. How do you handle retooling in a very deep league?" Ooh, I like this. Oh, wow. 16 by 11. So 16 team super flex. It's 1.75 for the tight ends. Start 11. And he says start one of each with 6 flexes. There's also a zero point 0.2 point per carry. So again, every rush attempt is 0.2. Made top 4 straight years. Have my 25 third in all of the future picks. And he says team is Allen, Carr, AOC, and backups. Has Jacobs, Justice Hill, and Trash at running back. And again, this is a PPC action. Amon-Ra, London, Terry, Sutton, Ray, Dio, John. Ayo, way to put him up there, Jared. Kincaid, yeah, love Kincaid Ingram at tight end. Moved Jettas for Amon-Ra and London last year. And he says, next move. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So again, can't can't say it enough. 16 by 11. 16 team superflex start 11 is legit format. I said it was like Jacobs, Hill, and Trash. There are a lot of teams who have Josh Jacobs, Justice Hill, and just Trash at running back. But what are you doing here, man?
Yeah, and I mean it's I don't play in any 16 team leagues myself. I did at one point. I dropped that thing very swiftly. Um, so yeah, it's a deep format for sure. And I mean, looking at your team, like you said, how do I retool on the fly here? Well, first and foremost, you have your future pick, so that gives you a lot of flexibility, really, in what you want to do. It's not like you have to try to force a championship or sell low and have like a 2 year orphan style rebuild. So that's awesome. You have Allen. So I mean, Clay, if I'm in a 16 team league and every single quarterback matters, and it almost feels like the elite guys, unless you can trade a starter for 2 starters, the elite guys probably matter that much more because you can
Mm,
actually capture that, and then having the start one of every position and the bunch of different flexes, that allows me to build very creatively and only really need to try to get hopefully a hammer at each position and then just have enough to fill it out and hope variance goes my way. Um, so when I look at your roster, I mean, you have Allen and then you have the Carr AOC backups filled. So you check that box for me. How comfortable you want to feel in a 16 team league, I will leave that up to you. I know not everyone feels the way I do about that. Um, Jacobs, Justice Hill, cans. I like how Justice Hill is not in the cans. I'm with you there. So glad to know I'm not alone. But like you said, Clay, right? A lot of these players matter in these deeper leagues, and you only got to technically start one running back. So at least you have Jacobs, but keep adding the cans. Just keep with your roster construction principles, really first and foremost. So for wide receiver, Raw, London, Terry, Sutton, love it. Ray probably entered your lineup more than you thought he would this
yeah.
year. So can you find the next Ray, or can you be flexible enough to find ways to get those kind of guys into your lineup? Me personally, I think it's probably easier to find the running backs. But again, you're in a 16 team start 11 league, so you're gonna have to make do with Dio John and finding those kind of guys. So the beautiful part is you don't have to have things solved today. Having
Right.
Kincaid and Ingram you're good. You're flexing one of those guys every week as well. So that takes care of a starter. Um, moving JJ for Amon-Ra in London in this deep of a format, I don't hate it at all. I think that's probably a really savvy move, is to get two guys who are valued in that range. And now you said, what's the next move? Clay, if
Yeah.
you had a London, what kind of range are you looking for? A wide receiver tier down? Are you looking to go cross positional? Like how would you approach that in this deep of a league?
Mm. Yeah, in this deep of a league, I'm always trying to think of getting an extra asset or so. I wish I could speak. He's like the one player that I don't feel comfortable like talking on right now. It's kind of weird. I don't know what to do with Drake London. I've got
Mm.
like a few shares of him or whatever. I can't make up my mind as to whether I want more London or not. Talk to me about London. Let me think more about
Yeah.
buy myself a little bit more time.
Well, I mean, a bet on London is a bet on Michael Penix
Because
and
I
London's
like
offense.
Penix. That's what's
Right.
interesting too. It's like, but I don't love London for some reason. Maybe more of a gut thing than it should be.
Yeah,
But
and
I need
he's been
full freight.
frustrating.
I need full
Yeah.
freight. People like him, regardless of what I think about him and what my gut feels about him. He does have juice. So in this deep of a league, if I'm not, did he say where he is contending or whatever? And then we'll move on to
He
the
said
to the
he
next
was
one.
top
Made
four the
top
last
four
four
4 straight
years.
years.
Yeah.
Because that comes into play too, is whether anything I want anything going to running back or not. But you did say
Mhm.
that you only have to start one, right?
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like if I'm sitting there and I have London, I mean, again, I'm not in a hurry because he's young, he's ascending, like he's what people are gonna want him, especially if they like with Penix, that heat that's happening with Penix, people are gonna want London. So I'm not in a hurry to move off of him. But I mean, in this particular league, like I'd be willing to get kind of gross. Like, can I go get like can I send away my Drake London? Can I get what like Chuba Hubbard and Jalen Waddle? Can I get that kind of a deal? Like,
Chuba and Jalen, would you is that enough for you? And you've got the feedbacks coming back again. Um,
oh,
yeah,
bother.
it's fine. So I would not do Jalen Waddle and Chuba Hubbard, I guess, but part of me is just the fact that Chuba still has the name stink. I don't know if I'll be able to get it out of my head. Anybody who listens knows I'm like big on just the likability and then like resale value of stuff.
Mm,
So I feel if I get Waddle and Chuba Hubbard, then I'm quote unquote stuck with that, which
okay.
isn't necessarily a bad thing in a format that, if I recall, again, I don't have it up on the screen anymore, so out of mind. But it was kind of a don't need running back format, right?
Yeah, and again, yeah, like he had Jacob, so like they have the lock there. I mean, yeah, and if like I said, if that doesn't do it for you, I'm sure I could say a name that does. Debo, Shakir, Godwin, Olave, like someone in that range is someone in there is going to do it for you. So choose a player that works, and yeah, good luck.
And Godspeed. All right, cool. I'm gonna have to buy myself another second to make a banner. So I'm gonna pull something up for you here on the screen, Ty. All right, from Sonaldo. 12 team superflex. Oh, there's another deep one. Let's move to a let me find a more shallow one, and then we'll go to another one for folks here. Jesus, another start 13. Oh, that's Sonaldo again. The savage in the crowd.
The DJs come out, Clay.
um oh, let me ask you this. Ty, who's your my guy?
Buddy. Terry McLaurin, baby. Let's go.
Oh, come on, let's go. Yeah,
Terry,
yeah.
we had a lively conversation with my pal Drew Sorensen Music. What
Oh,
was
is
Terry?
is that your buddy?
He's my buddy. He's my boy, and I planted the flag on Terry McLaurin, and it felt good. So, I mean, the plant flag was going to be a top 40 receiver, so that felt like a pretty nice way to plant it. And then Terry just did everything I wanted him to. So, yeah, I love me some Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, he did. I'm a Commanders fan, so that helps homerism wise. But he was so clutch for me in one league, and he got me into the playoffs, or was a big part of it. I spent at one point when Godwin went down, I think I spent Godwin and a late second to get Terry. And it was a good offer by the guy. And I was like, I have Jaden Daniels as well. So there was a narrative there. And yeah, I got knocked out in the first round. I had way too many leagues where I barely missed getting that buy and took the L. You know,
Those teams that you that got knocked out like that, were you already like pushed all the way in with your picks, like because you were trying to chase the buy?
that's a good question. There's so many leagues, but
That's
I,
fair.
I feel like in general, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to just randomly say something right there. I
Sure.
tend to have a nice mix and flavor of all of the above,
I like
right?
it. Well,
If it's a lister league, the odds are okay. Here's what it is. If it's an auction league, I'm sitting on a lot of picks right now.
yes.
If it's like a snake or whatever league, then I'm doing just fine. But
Gotcha.
no, yeah, I think our 16 teamer, it's a 16 by 11 in an auction league. My team's like decent in there, but that's a horse of a league. Okay.
Yeah, that's
I
generous.
still need to make we will end this fairly shortly because I know we're having like tech stuff. It's not really bothering me that much. It's just maybe are the crickets like extra bad up there in Canada or something? Is that what it is? And they're
I could.
perfectly timed with your mic. I'm just
Yeah,
messing with you.
that's actually it. I have a pet cricket in the outside the igloo here.
Yep. Okay. Crowd. We have let's see. Do we have a question in here? I see Faith talking about London and Marv as well. I'm just trying to pull something up to make this not crappy listening. Justin said traded Bigsby, Penix, and Polk for Nico and a 27 third in the 16 team Superflex start 10. What do you think?
Ooh,
He says, how do we do?
okay. Again, the 16 team leagues all come out to play tonight. Hey,
Yeah.
I mean, Justin, it's a little hard to say exactly how you did without really knowing like your team, the context, and kind of like how we got there. But if I had to say, just from my guy, I love me some Nico. I love me some Nico.
Yeah.
I'm very high on Nico, but it would be so hard for me to trade away Penix in a 16 team league. And it's, you get a Bigsby and a Polk back. So I might play I might play the format and take the Penix, but I think I'm just gonna take Nico and bet that I can turn that into a quarterback if I need to as we get through kind of like the middle of the season, the off season, everything. But give me Nico and let's see what happens.
Yeah, buy me a little bit more time. Why are you so Nico? So big of a Nico
Uh,
fan.
I mean, it's waxed and waned a bit throughout the year. He started out I mean, before last year even. He showed well in his opportunity, and he's connected to CJ Stroud and what should have been a nice offense. Like the bet going into the year was that Bobby Slowick in that offense is going to be the same thing as it was, and we're going to see a great year. Add in Diggs, add in Tank Dell, and it's going to be incredible. It never really got there. There was injuries throughout the year, sophomore slumps. It was a frustrating season, but throughout it all, Nico was smashing from a wide receiver usage standpoint. But something that we use a lot is the Trinity Tracker tool, and he was tracking the high 8s and 9s at the start of the year.
I just hid your ass behind the graphic for a second there by accident.
Bye. And then, like I said, Nico didn't fully seize everything like I thought he would once all the other wide receivers were out of the way. But I'm not solely resting at the feet of Nico. So I'm still very high on Nico. I think he is one of the upper echelon type wide receivers. I think he does belong there. But yeah, I wish he did a little bit more, Clay. Just a little bit more.
Yeah, I know, but I'm a big Nico fan as well. But I've always been a fan of that size and type wide receiver for sure. I always feel like there's extra built-in like liquidity and stuff with a player like that. It's just a freaking beast out there. Okay, so I got another overlay up here. We've got a couple hammers on one screen. We're going to start at the bottom, actually. That would have been the older one. Thank you very much, BT242. Big picture strategy question for rookie drafts that I'm sure you've answered before, but I haven't been a DT5 groupie for long enough to know your thoughts. Well, welcome aboard. Or glad to still have you. Draft for roster needs, BPA or ADV, specifically starting in mid to late first and on. My league is low activity and doesn't quote unquote day trade. So I know I'll feel obligated to draft the position I need instead of taking value. You guys rock. So that is definitely key to know. This BT242, he says, haven't been with us that long. I've seen your name a million times. Maybe just donates a lot of hammers. Thank you. So low activity league, there's not day trading. He's saying he's gonna have to make that pick, the draft position. What are you doing in this case?
Yeah, and thanks for adding the league context there. I think that really does
It's
help because
huge.
what it does depend on is what what does my league say. So usually and typically, especially like once we're outside of the top picks, I am mostly drafting for ADV. Things that I think can turn into things that I can move into a deal. I remember it sticks in my head some things that like Ray Garvin says, old Ray G. And he said, like, when I drafted that Jalen McMillan, I knew that was someone that I'd be able to attach in a deal down the road. And gosh darn it, he did it, and it got him a championship in a league that I'm in with him. So
There you go.
like if you have that opportunity, that's typically how I like to draft: is who do people like and what fits. But it sounds like in your case, you're probably going to be stuck with who you draft. So aside from the top guys, I mean, I guess you got to go best player available. But I mean, if I have like that one roster has 5 quarterbacks in a 10-team league, maybe I'm not doing that there. Maybe
Yeah.
then I'm defaulting to roster construction if I can't worry about trade value. But in general, really, if I'm drafting mid first, late first, can I kick it to the future? Can I kick that can down the road and not have to make the decision? That's the ideal.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, I'll read this next one to you while I make another overlay with 2 on it. This will be nice and efficient. Flying Burrito Bro. He's one of our DT5 groupies, and you are too, damn it. BT242. Thank you. 12-team Superflex, half PPR, full PPR for the tight end, start 9. So 12 by 9. Roster is Lamar Kyler at quarterback, Henry and Chase Brown and Dowdle at running back, Jefferson, Amon-Ra, Waddle, Godwin at wide receiver, then Andrews and Goddard at tight ends. Here comes an inbox offer. Give Kyler, Waddle, and a 26-second. Get Nico and the 106. First thought was a hard pass, but then I thought, if I can get a replacement quarterback with that 106, is this worth it? Am I trying to get too cute? Thoughts? What do you think, Ty? It's Fly Burrito Bro getting too cute, too spicy of a burrito here for you?
I mean,
Is there such a thing? There isn't for me.
Clay, we've one, yes, a good spicy burrito will always do the trick. I'm a hot sauce lover, so yes, you are. Yes, hot sauce, please. Spicy burritos. We just talked about Waddle, right? Doesn't do it for you. It's people are poo-pooed on the name. Kyler didn't really live up to our expectations. 26-second is dope, but we talked about Nico already in the 106. I mean, this feels exactly what we were talking about in a draft, right? Is I need my quarterback too. So I'm going to take Kyler, but then I leave Nico on the board, and I would want Nico over Kyler.
Yeah.
So I want the 106 over Waddle in a second. So I'm going to take Nico on the 106 here. And like you said, like, can you find the replacement quarterback with the 106? Do you have to draft that? Probably not this year, from what we know today. But Clay, I say that if a quarterback goes in the top 10 in the NFL draft, we're not going to be able to help ourselves, right? So if something happens, we're going to be right back up there. But you can use that 106, try to find a trade for, let's see, 106. Who would I trade 106 for? I mean, would you trade 106 for Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff?
It's funny you say that, because we've definitely covered exactly that, whether it was a video or a stream or something. And 106 was kind of right there with Baker, wasn't it? I feel like 106.7 ish. answer your own questions. What do you think? Would you spend the 106 on Baker Mayfield?
Oh yeah, no, like the
Yeah.
like the Penix, even hell, even like JJ McCarthy, like Dak Prescott, even I might do it in that range, right? Like depending on how, if I think getting that quarterback now makes me more flexible because I don't have to worry about what I'm doing with that quarterback 2 spot, then in those situations, Clay, sure, let's check it in, let's get it done. So if moving down from Kyler
Yeah.
to whatever other level, but then you get into Nico, yes, please.
Yeah, so I'm gonna it's just because I can talk real quick while I'm doing it, but it's just kind of funny because I had recognized the name and I meant to put this on the screen in a previous stream. But with buymeacoffee.com/trades-in-5, we started that, I guess maybe a couple of years ago now. We've had over 600 supporters at this point, which is super cool. Which is super cool. It's an awesome little platform over there on buymeacoffee.com. Just adorable. Just adorable Ty. But yeah, so they have a list that I see, and here I'm just pulling it up. It's the top supporters over the whole amount of time. And there's BT 242 is number 1. Sticky Buns, the second highest supporter of all time, and Mac in the USA, number 3. But I'll tell you what, there's so many names that I see so many different times. So like, T-Law's shampoo. I could name a million of them. Flying Burrito Bro is up there. Yeah, number 6th place. No, who knows? But yes, thank you to everybody who supports. And again, thank you, BT242.
Yeah,
okay.
BT242, definitely not a DT5 groupie. Definitely not.
Definitely. Yeah, I know, right? What is this? I must be like a loser in terms of how like committed I am to stuff. Am I like groupie in everything I do? You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna have to like revisit how
seriously
involved I am in things after
seriously.
tonight. Yeah, so I will do the pitch action for you. We'll go ahead and just stop the stream now. It's fine. This feels like an off week anyway, Ty, right? With the Senior Bowl, like all the guys from DD are gone, so it's like it feels like a week where you can hide. No,
everyone and their mother's over in Mobile right now. So hey to everyone. Hope you're having fun.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's definitely chill on the screen tonight. I had no doubt. And yes, we have to get you and Shane on a stream together. Just you two. We don't need anything else muddy. It'll just be a comedy show. But yeah, so roster review wise, email rosterreview@dynastytradesin5.com. You got an idea of how sharp Ty is tonight with his peer-to-peer roster reviews. So we have those. And then of course we have the Shane and Scott live reviews as well. Ty says that he does almost all of his recorded. I'm sure he would be happy to jump on with you as well or figure that out. But yeah, it's an awesome product. I see emails coming in all the time. It's peer-to-peer roster review is like the subject line. So email rosterreview@dynastytradesin5.com, or you can go to dynastytradesin5.com/roster review and get there as well. But yeah, check it out. Hit us up. This is when we start getting busy, no doubt. January 28th. Everybody's trying to hoard spaces for their rookie drafts already, which is understandable, right? Yeah. Maybe after overcharge. So I'm trying to. It'll cost an extra spicy burrito. That's what I was going to get out there.
I like it.
That's all from me. Thanks to everybody in the crowd for being so engaged as well. And everything that's outstanding here on Buy Me a Coffee, we're pretty much up to speed. I answer them for the most part as well. But I see you, Jack, BG, Bez Mucci, and Matt G with a couple in a row there for 15. Shit. We get. Damn it. I don't want to leave this hanging. He bought 6 hammers in the last 2 hours. Let me see. Let's. Okay, because he didn't even have the question on the. Yeah. We're gonna answer this. It's fine.
Let's go. Everyone's just hanging out, having a good time.
So, just tell me something about Canada real quick. I'll be fast.
Something about Canada. Okay, it's cold. No, I grew up in Vancouver, BC, outside of Vancouver, BC. So I was a West Coast kid, and now I'm living on the East Coast over in Nova Scotia.
Hell
So
yeah.
yeah, so it's windy, it's a little cold, but it's very nice. Yeah, healthcare is kind of cool when I don't have to worry about going into financial debt. Um, but we all, there's pluses and minuses to everything. So yeah, I mean, Canada's fine, man. I lived in the States for 2 years when I went to school. So
Yeah, yeah.
I showed some people in Indiana a toonie, which is like $2 coin. They lost their damn minds. So
Is
I
that like a thing that you use like on a daily basis? That's like part of the pocket change. Will be
oh
a
yeah,
toonie if you're
yeah,
that
our
kind of
$1
stud.
coin is called a loonie, and our $2 coin is called a toonie. So we're pretty cool. I also had half of my school convinced that I had a pet sea lion at home, that I lived in an igloo. So there's the American education system never fails.
You could you could sell anything to anyone apparently. Okay, let me get this banner off. Oops. Where the shit is this? Oh, I didn't download it as a transparent as well. Just take me a sec. Yeah, Liam, our editor, is from Canada. He's the man. I always just love messing with him on that. What the hell? What happened? That was I
Big, big,
did do a damn transparent. This
you
is
did.
bullshit. Um,
Big Diaz says the weather's cold, the women are hot, and all your healthcare problems slide off like snot. you know, I appreciate that Big Diaz. I don't know if that was AI or you, but I know that was you.
yeah, we did some snowboarding trips up in Canada. That was way back in the day though. I guess I was in high school. We used to go up there too. Was it Treblant? Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Treblant
Mont
and some other,
Tremblant.
yeah, it's freaking awesome there. Okay, Matt G, thank you for the what ended up being 6 hammers. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Feel free to yeah, drop another question in the comments of your blank one. How about that? And I'll hit it. Okay, 12 team superflex, start 11 with um, start 2 tight ends. Okay. It's half PPR, full PPR for the wide receivers, 2 PPR for tight ends. So kind of a tiered PPR, and it's 1 point per first down. That's a big first down
Hmm.
bonus. Okay, quarterbacks are Kyler, Tua, Stafford, and Winston. Has running backs of Bijan, James Cook, Bucky, Rashad White. Wide receivers Flowers, Sutton, Jacoby Myers, Shaheed. Tight ends McBride, Kittle, Janu. No 25 or 26 picks. Tight ends were expensive. This is a 24 startup. This team had no business doing it. Believe it or not, I won the championship. Hey, nicely done. Better lucky than good. I know I don't see myself as a contender and need to make changes. Wanted to start by moving off of Flowers, but no idea how to value them. Also need a bolstered draft capital. Trade ideas, targets. What do you think here, Ty? So 12 by 11, you're starting 2 tight ends with a 2.0. Tight end
Oh,
is a legit thing, and he's got McBride, Kittle, and Janu. He lucked
oh,
into Janu this year, too. Good Lord.
just
That's
nailed
why
it.
you made it. That's why you won the ship, right? Right? Like a thing like that.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was very nice. You nailed tight end in here, so good stuff. Will you nail it again? TBD, right? Yeah, I mean, so as far as Zay Flowers goes, I mean, he's one of those wide receivers. He's probably going to fall into a very wide range of flat wide receivers who, week over week, who knows who's going to score more? Who knows who's going to be valued more based off the pop of things that are happening? So, those kind of guys, like if I can get a future first, especially one that maybe I can bet on, I'm usually okay letting go for that. So if you don't see yourself or you don't just build in some insulation or get something flexible that you can turn into something down the road, I don't mind, moving Flowers for a 26 first. Can I get, oh gosh, I don't know, Deontay Johnson added in? Can I get Alec Pierce added on? Like, can I get something small just tacked on with it? Can I get a running back body back? Can I get Jaleel McLaughlin added into that? Um, as far as quarterback goes here, Clay, I mean, Kyler, Tua, Stafford, Winston. How do you, the reason that I feel nice having those really slim quarterback builds is because I have one of those top four guys. In
Mhm.
a situation we have Kyler, Tua, Stafford, Winston, how do you feel?
Gross. Gross.
Gross.
I don't like it. Yeah, when I look at that room, I don't I mean it's not terrible. It's just every time I see Stafford, I always count it as point 0.5 quarterbacks and then Kyler and Tua. These are the kinds of rooms I don't love
Mhm.
because it doesn't have liquidity and it's not like it's smashing points wise.
Right.
But it's not like you can have everything, right? And this team has everything at tight end that it could possibly need in a start two tight end, 2.0 tight end premium. So that's what I'm always protecting or or valuing when I look at this team. What do you think
Yeah.
about quarterback room like that? What
Yeah.
are
I
you in the
mean,
same kind of boat? How are you addressing that position in particular on this?
and it's an interesting because, like you said, there's not a lot of like demand to go and get a Kyler or to a Stafford or Winston right now. And like you said, like it's concept tested and proven that like having these tight ends is beneficial for winning the championship.
Right.
So like, and I bet there was weeks that you flexed all your tight ends, like Jonnu, Kittle, and you
Oh, yeah,
started,
just
so
smashing.
just
Yeah.
smash it. So having that kind of an advantage, it leads it. So I don't need to be perfect everywhere. And
Mhm.
in these 2.0 tight end premium leagues, like I did a lot of bully tight end type builds, especially in
Mhm.
best ball. So I don't really hate that. I don't hate having the McBride kill Jonnu, but I mean, also, if we're being honest, we can probably move one of them. And
Yeah.
I don't,
You can in this format.
you can. So
Yeah.
if you felt like you could take Kittle and add it to Kyler, could you, if you want
Mm.
to climb the quarterback ladder? I mean,
Oof.
let's see. Kyler and Kittle, can you get Drake May?
Oh, hell yeah. I
Yeah.
need I'm starting way higher personally. You're not you don't think in a
I just
2.0?
want I
Oh, you're
just
just
wanted
setting
to
a
ask the
baseline.
question.
Okay, go ahead.
Just
Let's go. Keep
so
going.
so so, so if I can get even if I can just even improve it, a Bo Nix, a Drake May, and then
Yeah,
address another position elsewhere.
I see.
If I can do that, cool. But then, like you said, we can go up, right? Like Justin Herbert. Do you feel good about Justin Herbert for that package?
I like Justin Herbert. I put so much weight I put so much weight into that format. It's to
Mm-hmm.
where if I especially just won the championship, it's going to be very, very pricey to get George Kittle off my team because he's a quarterback. He's a
Yeah.
quarterback in a start two tight ends as well. So I don't
Yes.
mess around there. But yeah, Herbert, that now you're in the quarterback range though, to where yes, it's a conversation. So give me a 27 first in Justin Herbert, and you can have my Kyler and
Perfect. I
yeah,
love
and
that
Kittle.
because that's what I was just gonna say. Right? Is once we're playing in this, like in the Kyler, the May, like there's just a very flat range because
Hmm.
we know they're not here. So and they're not here. So it's a very messy middle. And in a league like this, like with the 2.0 tight end premium, like start to, I don't need to trade up in the messy middle just to try to feel better in the offseason, right? So in a deal like that, yeah, like if I can switch the quarterback someone I like, I need to get something else back that makes sense. You said a 27 first. I like that.
Something like that. Yeah. Or like
Yeah.
that kind of value, like that amount of value feels about right to you as well.
I'm
Yeah.
fine with that, honestly. Yeah.
27 first. So everybody's still walking around half-mast, even
Yeah.
thinking about 27 first. Like,
Uh,
can a bunch of people not stand up from behind wherever they are right now after
just
I said
penciling in
27
Jeremiah
first?
Smith, baby.